Hey guys, Canadian Zangief back again. This time I'm going to be going through a lot of my backlog and hopefully start clearing a lot of it out so I can start going fresh with this season. That puts a little bit of pressure on me to start picking up more stuff, but it is what it is. So let's get on to it. So first off, I was checking out Kijiji one day. That's the Canadian Craigslist, pretty much, and an ad popped up that I was selling a couple systems for a bundle, and I ended up getting both of them for $25 total, and which is a pretty good deal. So I got a PS1, and it's all Canadian, 25 Canadian. And everything works on it, you know. I had the hookups for it, and so I completed the system. And master system. Now, unfortunately, I didn't have hookups for this at first, and it took me a little bit to track down the hookups. And it powers on, but I get no video. So I don't know if it's a capacitor thing. I'm not too sure. I've never repaired a master system before, but I'm on the fence of whether I should try repairing it or just sending it to someone cheap as is that knows a little bit more about how to fix them. Either way, you know, $25 for, you know, an as-is master system and a PlayStation 1. It's not terrible, you know. Speaking of master system, I've increased my collection a few more since last time. I got My Hero for the Sega Master System. I didn't pay much for it, but it's an okay game, I guess. It's not that amazing. It's one of those ones that definitely is better in my memory. Transbot. I've never owned this one, and it's not really too amazing of a shooter. I always imagined something more Transformers-like in my youth. I've never owned it, and it's okay, I guess. Time Soldier. This one isn't actually that bad. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Ikari Warriors. Kind of a top-down run and gun. So yeah, not bad. I had some fun playing that. And I ended up picking up the last Master System game, and that's Psycho Fox. Kind of surprised at how expensive this is. I picked it up for, I think, like $30 or something, and it was just because it was one of those days that I was really in the mood to go and buy a game, and I couldn't find anything really that I wanted to at the flea market, and so I talked the guy down to 30 because he had it listed at like 50. It's a decent little platformer, but the controls are a little slippery. Like, imagine Mario World on ice, you know, like all the time. That's kind of how it feels. But, you know, pretty good. It's a neat little cartoon fox kind of platformer game. Also at the flea market, not the same day, but I think like a week later or something, I stopped by Bookman's little unit, and I noticed something in their Game Boy collection there, and I'm a huge Wizards and Warriors fan, and I see that there's actually a Wizards and Warriors Game Boy game. I did not know that even existed, and that's Wizards and Warriors 10 Fortress of Fear. Now of course this is a custom case, but Yeah, it's classic Wizards and Warriors gameplay. It's its own thing. It's not like the first game or anything just shrunk down to a Game Boy game. It's its own little game. The big thing about this is like Wizards and Warriors 10. I only know of Wizards and Warriors 1, Iron Sword, which is Wizards and Warriors 2, and something of Kuros, which is Wizards and Warriors 3. Where do you get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10? I don't know what the deal with that is. Yeah, if you know, let me know. Once again, at Bookman, I noticed in his case something that, you know, I remember fondly as a youth, mostly because I'm a big fan of Mutant League football and Mutant League hockey. And this was kind of along those lines, and that's pigskin football. Now this is a deceptively, you know, rare or uncommon-ish game. He had it listed for like, I think like $2 or $3 or something, but I'm assuming he thought it was just like a regular sports title. But no, this is like all medieval, and you can, you know, kill the other team and everything. I love it. It's so good. Got a bunch of shelf padding that I've picked up from this Value Village and the thrift stores along the way. Almost all of it, you know, is like $3.99. I'll just blow through it pretty quick because none of it's too amazing. Alias for the PlayStation 2. I know nothing about this. I'm told it's based on a TV show or something. Never watched that either, so yeah, there it is. Splinter Cell for the Xbox Classic. Yeah, you know, you find a million of these around. I swear that's Splinter Cell for Xbox in its various forms is like the most common Xbox games I find. Gun for PlayStation 2. Yet another Splinter Cell game for the Xbox. Didn't I tell you? Blinks 2. Never played the Blinks game. I'm guessing it's something like Jak and Daxter or something like that. I believe I ran into Thrift Dweller Nate when I picked this up, and he said it was pretty good, so yeah, you know, I'll give it a shot. Enter the Matrix for Xbox. It totally was just cashing in on the hype of the movie when this was released. It's not a good game. Sega GT 2002, and it's a double game. Jet Set Radio Future and Defender. Got that. It's not bad. You know, I like rehashes of classic Atari. Dragon Ball Z Super. It's okay. You know, it was worth you know, the $5 or whatever. I'm sure I can get a little bit more out of it. My favorite Elder Scroll game, Morrowind 3. I'm really wishing that they would do a remake of this for the current gen, because it's absolutely my favorite scenario. So yeah. And this one's not cheap, so it's not a no cheap one. But I picked it up. I can't remember where I got it, but I spent like $20 for it. You know, it's under what it's worth, and it's a pretty awesome game. God Hand for the PlayStation 2. You know, beat 'em up, third person, really out there. Kind of reminds me a bit of Fist of the North Star, just for the extreme movements and, you know, combat. It's pretty sweet. I recommend it. This is something Miss Zangief picked up for me from Value Village. It's another one of those just striking at the right time, you know, before the guy that goes around and overprices everything, you know, walked in the door. $2.99. Game Boy Advance SP Black. Works and everything. Unfortunately, it's the here, I'll turn it on. It's the first version, so it doesn't have the super bright screen, but still not bad, you know. and it wasn't alone too. It had a game in it too. So that game was Fire Emblem for the Game Boy Advance. You know, pretty expensive game too, right? So both of these for like $2.99, can't go wrong. It was an awesome deal. Mrs. Keefe gets lucky sometimes, you know. Jeez. And the last thing that I got for this pickup video is two things. I picked these up retail because, you know, they're new. But I was really excited to grab them because it would allow me to play more stuff on my TV and, you know, take another step away from my computer. And that's going to be the Steam Link and the Steam controller. I have it set up very nicely, actually. I have like Velcro to hook it up underneath my entertainment unit. You can't even see it. And it's entirely run just with the controller now at this point. And if you're not familiar with Steam, they're notorious for having crazy deals like during like holidays and like 80% off and 90% off. So you can get a lot of titles for like pennies on the dollar, right? The controller is also kind of interesting. It's to mimic like a computer sort of, so you have like, you know, touch pads like laptops. It's got like haptic feedback, so you actually can feel where you're pressing and where you are on it. It's got this little kind of vibrating sensation. The button location is a little bit strange when you're playing it because your thumbs are wanting to go here, and then you got a joystick here to move, and like this is actually a D-pad, this one, so I'd almost prefer it if it actually was a D-pad. But Steam has recently released that they want people to mod these. I don't know if I have enough confidence to do that, but maybe down the way. Lots of interesting, like, you know, button locations on here. Like you got the two triggers, and on the back you got like mouse clickers on either side here. Of course the analog clicks in as well. These click in as well as being touchpads. So you can like hot button like lots and lots of buttons from a keyboard on this thing. In the Steam community, there's actually presets already being done by users, so you don't even have to do it yourself. And it ranks it by popularity. So if you're playing, say, Skyrim or something, there's going to be a most recommended button key set for, you know, the Steam controller. And you won't even have to do any work towards it, really, because it's already been done by, you know, the community. And then it is completely community driven, so you know it's going to be the majority of good if it's the top one on the list, right? So I'm having a lot of fun with this. Check it out if you're kind of on the fence. One thing though, it is better to have a direct internet connection to your Steam Link. It's small too. I'm not gonna rip it off my thing, my entertainment unit, but it's like this big. Maybe yeah, it's about the size of this. So it's really small. Get an Ethernet cord directly plugged into it, so you might have to snake it around a little bit. I have it going like up the wall and, you know, in the corners and everything. It does work wirelessly, but it recommends against it because it's not a solid, consistent internet connection. Or at least that's what it says. I just followed the directions and it worked out fine. But yeah, well worth the money, because these were only like 50 bucks each, you know, so can't go wrong, right? Alright, well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Cheers.